so passionate about what we did in New York and all the lessons I learned. For me, the New York trip was always the trip that I looked forward to ever since I was in 7th grade. That was a trip that I knew I really, really wanted to go on. I've been on so many trips, with TC, other mission trips too, but New York was always one I was kind of drawn to. First, because we've always had chapels like this every year, and I was hearing all this other awesome opportunities that they were bringing back these such awesome memories, and I was like, I want to be a part of that too. But also because the New York trip was such a different style of mission trip than I'd ever been on before. I've been on lots of like your typical mission trips, this service-oriented mission trips where you're going to a third world country, you're working in all these construction projects, you're in schools and orphanages. But the New York trip, on the other hand, is first and foremost focused around evangelism, on literally getting you out there onto the streets, on talking with people one-on-one, sharing Jesus with them through prayer. And so with that being kind of my first experience in that, my first mission trip style like that, I think I went in with this preconceived notion that every day we were going to be out on the streets, we were going to be having these hugely successful days of missions, we were going to be sharing Jesus with every single person that we passed by, we were going to be leading people to Jesus right and left. But the more and more I got into it, the more I realized that what we were doing was really just having 5-minute conversations with people, where we got to hear their stories, we got to plant seeds of God's hope and of His peace in a city that always seems to be hustling and bustling. They aren't just people that go out on a Saturday into their prayer stations and then just go back and adjust to their everyday lives. No, missions, ministry for them has completely become their lives. Especially at Tompkins, the part that we talked about where they go to minister to the homeless. They've been going there week after week, year after year, and they have built such a community there. One of the interns was talking to me about how she knew the stories behind so many of the people. And it truly is their steady investment in the people there. It's them going week after week, sharing with the people God's love, getting to hear their stories and tell them that God thinks they are valuable, which is really important to the homeless people who are so often told by society that they are not valuable. It's been that steady investment over the weeks, over the years, that has led many of those homeless people into relationships with Jesus. And even though we were only there for one of the weeks, we didn't get to see the entire effect of the story, of the prayers that we got to have. We were there, we were able to have just even 5-minute conversations where we were able to hear people's stories, to tell them that they are important, to plant those little seeds of growth, that God is going to continue to grow, even when we can't even see it. That's why I think that here, when we are in our relationships here, that God gives us opportunities to grow too. It's very easy to go on these awesome mission trips and to come back and think, well, maybe is mission something we just do because God tells us to, or that's just a cool trip that our school goes on, or that's a box we just have to check off. But the truth is that God calls every single one of us to be a missionary, to do His work, to share His gospel in our lives where we are right now. It's very easy to go on these awesome trips and then to let those experiences just fade to fond memories, to go adjust back into our everyday lives and not make any sort of lasting change. We think that missions is elsewhere. It's in New York or Nicaragua or Bahamas. But the truth is, I firmly believe that God gives every single one of us opportunities in our lives here too, to share His love and His hope with the broken people around us. So as I challenge myself to incorporate the lessons I learned in New York into my life now, I have some challenges for every single one of you, for our whole student body, to live as missionaries in our lives here. So my first challenge for you guys is to be present. So in New York, I'm sure you've called it as the city that never sleeps. And it definitely seems to live up to that nickname, especially downtown when you're in Times Square. Everybody seems to be hustling and bustling, rushing to their next location. A lot of people have their headphones in, sunglasses on, and they are completely zoned out to what's happening right around them. And I kind of got to think to myself, if I lived in New York and I just passed the prayer station, would I stop or would I not? Not because I didn't love God or I didn't think that prayer was important, but because I was focusing so much of my energy on the pressing worries of where I had to be next, what I had to get done. And so even though we aren't busy businessmen rushing to our busy meeting, bustling past a group of high schoolers offering prayer, I think that we can be just as distant sometimes too. We're so focused on the homework that we have to get done, or the plans that we have for the night, or who won the basketball game last night, that we completely miss out on the opportunities that are right in front of us. on getting to know the people around us, getting to hear the stories of the people we brush by in the halls every single day. Every single opportunity, every single interaction that we have with another human being is a chance to treat them with God's love. And even though we can't always see it, we are placed here in the school, in our classes, in our sports, in our jobs, in our youth groups, and our families for a reason. And God faithfully gives us opportunities to share the gospel if we are present to look for them. And so along with being present, we must also be intentional. So we're being present, we're seeing the opportunities that God has given us, but we must also then be intentional to then use those opportunities to share God's love and share God's hope. I think sometimes it's really easy to hear super spiritual phrases like reach the lost or minister to the broken, repeated over and over again in Bible class or in chapel, and understand the concept behind it, but not see how that looks actually spelled out and applied in our everyday lives. That's why I love the little cards that we've been filling out at the end of chapel, because we hear this awesome message, but then we can actually think through concrete steps that we can then apply that concept into our everyday lives. So just as each and every one of us has different opportunities, different places, different relationships God gives us to minister, I think that that looks different for every person. So for some of you, being intentional in your relationships might be going to that one person, sitting down with them, and sharing God's truth with them. But for others of you, it might be being intentional with your friendships to just be a faithful friend, to be that friend that stays and gives God's hope, even through the times of struggles. So we must use our opportunities. Look what being intentional looks like for us individually. I think something that I found works really well in keeping myself accountable to being intentional is keeping a journal. So at the end of every night, I will write down the opportunities I had to share God's love that day, to love people, support them, serve them. And along with that, I'll write down a challenge for myself that I can implement then the next day. Especially recently, my challenge that I've had for myself is to focus less on the overwhelming worries of college, of exams, of writing papers, and to focus more on the opportunities that I have to love, support, and serve the people that God has placed around me. So I encourage every one of you to evaluate those relationships, those opportunities, those mission fields that you have right in front of you, and to see what being missional in those looks like for you individually. But also then, with being present, with being intentional, we must be bold in that. Stepping out of our everyday routine takes a lot of courage and determination. That's something I definitely experienced on this trip. Tom talked a little bit about it. But Monday, when we were doing our prayer station in Times Square, it was a rough day for me. At one point, Mr. Gaines, who was my partner, had stepped away for a little bit. And so I was out there by myself, and it seemed like every single person I was asking, would they pray with me? They were either completely ignoring me or rejecting me, and I was getting so discouraged from that. Also, I was a little bit disappointed in myself because I wasn't being super assertive or getting out there being super outgoing as I knew that I should have been. And also, out of my peripheral vision, I could see every other pair of people that were praying with people, and they always seemed to have a constant flow of people that wanted to pray with them. And so I just kept thinking to myself, I am doing something very, very wrong. I am just so bad at this. And I was so discouraged, but Mr. Gaines, he encouraged me through that. But I think that additional discouragement on Monday helped me see the next couple of days that we had as opportunities for me to grow and to push myself. And today we both went into it. We're like, we didn't have a great day on Monday, but today we are going to grow in our boldness today. And so Tom prayed over us, 2 Timothy 1:17, which is, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power. And when we claim that promise as our own, God answered that in ways that I don't even think we could have realized. And truly, when we open ourselves up to God, when we are willing to let Him use us, He gives us that boldness to step out. It's the voices of fear, of doubt, of discouragement, of you aren't good enough. Those voices are not from God. God's voice is the one that promises to use you even when we aren't perfect, to give us boldness, to use us and grow us in extraordinary ways when we are willing to do that. Also, I think it takes a lot of boldness to step out of our comfort zones, especially when we've been stuck in them for so long. But the thing I learned about comfort zones is that we do build them ourselves. And when we consistently, intentionally step out of them, when we allow God's courage to overcome our fears, we find that we don't so much get out of our comfort zones as we can expand them. And with that, I think we can do that every single day by just taking little steps of faith. I think that'll look different for every single one of us. For some of you, it might mean sitting at a different lunch table than you used to, or saying hi to that junior hire that you see with his trombone in the hallway, or going and having that conversation with a person that God has laid on your heart. I think that will look different for every single one of us. But I know that sometimes taking bold steps of faith doesn't look super drastic, but when we faithfully step out, when we allow His courage to overcome our fears, God definitely honors that, and He will use that to grow every single one of us. But this is my final thought for you guys. The reason why we are present, we are intentional, and we are bold is because we believe that prayer actually changes things. Prayer changes things is the quote that we have on our super fashionable red aprons. And I remember on Monday, we were standing doing our prayer stations in our aprons, and I got this keen sense that I was being watched. So I look around my shoulder, and there's this lady about 2 feet from me taking a picture of my back, and I kind of jump a little bit. I was like, that's a little bit creepy. And she's like, turn back around. I want to take a picture of your apron. I just love that quote. I was like, okay, that's a little bit stalkerish, but okay. Which I guess it turned out it was a good thing that she wasn't discreet in taking pictures, because we got to talk with her and hear her story, and so that ended up being a cool thing. We were out there wearing these goofy aprons and offering prayer. It's because we truly wanted to share God's gospel with these people, and because every single one of us believed in the power of prayer, that when God works miracles, when we offer up our struggles to Him, when we don't see prayer just as a daily ritual or a tradition that we do with beginning our classes, but as communication with God that actually holds the power to bring change in our lives and in our world, it truly transforms our relationships in our community. Such a beautiful picture of what the church is supposed to be, a group of people that love God and love each other. So don't take your support system for granted. Don't take for granted those people that God has placed in your life to invest in you and support you. And also be that for other people. Be that friend that goes out of your way to encourage and love those people, to point those to Christ. Because when we actually believe that prayer changes things, then we are compelled to be bold, to be intentional, and to be present in the opportunities that God gives every single one of us every single day. All right, as we move forward, I'm going to pray for you guys. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we pause to praise you. Jesus, you are so faithful to us, even when we don't deserve it. And when we offer up our lives to you, Lord, you show up in awesome ways that we don't always see. Lord, we offer up to you these next couple of days, these next couple of weeks, our lives, Lord, for you to work in us, for you to stretch us out of our comfort zones, Lord, because you are faithful to give us that boldness to do things that we can't always see. We love you, Lord, and we want to serve you more every single day. In your name we pray, amen. Thank you, guys.